What's up guys, Tommy Bowyer here from Movie Rewind, and today I will be reviewing Casualty Series 26. So without further ado, let's get into it. The 26th series of Casualty began airing on the 13th of August 2011 and concluded on the 22nd of July 2012. It contained 42 episodes, and while I said that Series 25 for me was the first proper modern series of Casualty, Series 26 is when the show went through a lot of physical changes. They changed set midway through this series, so if a modern Casualty viewer who's only watched the show since, let's say, Series 36, if they went back and watched Series 26, I think they would see a lot of similarities in how the show looked. So yeah, I would say Series 26 is the first modern series of Casualty, but it's still a cracking series overall. Series 26 of Casualty is a series of change. It was the first series to not have a break between transmission. Now what used to happen was Casualty used to conclude in August and then a new series would start up again in September. With Series 26 that didn't happen, it just aired the week after. Now because the Series 25 finale of course was a massive airport accident, the opening episode of Series 26 is not actually that massive. It's kind of just a Jeff and Dixie centric episode, so it's not got the massive opening episodes which previous series of Casualty did. So that was a bit of a change, I have to admit, but it weren't that bad, to be honest. Of course, the main thing about Series 26 is that it's the final series which is set in Bristol. During Series 26 they crossed over from filming in Bristol to filming in a new set in Cardiff, and I would say once they start filming in Cardiff it does feel like a very different show, not just because of the physical appearance but just in terms of the storylines they do, of the new intro that they use. It just does feel like a new era of Casualty, which isn't a very bad thing. I would actually say the 2012 theme of Casualty is probably one of their best. I would say there is not a theme they've used which really gets you to understand what this show is about. Series 26 does deal with some very sensitive topics such as addiction, gangs and riots, and Series 26 contains some of my favourite episodes such as Next of Kin, the final 2 episodes set in Bristol, Duty of Care, the first episode set in Cardiff, as well as the series finale #Holby Riots. All 3 of these episodes made it onto my top 10 Casualty episodes of all time. So it says a lot about how good Series 26 is if 3 of its episodes are my personal favourite of all time. Nick Jordan is an important character this series as he develops a relationship with DCI Yvonne Rippon. I actually really like this relationship. At first I was like, I don't know if this would work because they're both 2 very strong characters, but actually that's partly why it works, in the sense that these are 2 people very similar, very committed to their jobs, and they just find that they have that in common and a relationship develops out of it. So I did really enjoy this relationship as the series went on. The new characters, we've got nurses Lloyd and Scarlett. I really like them 2 characters. They're very well developed, their storylines are interesting, and you can see how the chemistry between them eventually led into a relationship, although it's pretty obvious that it's a rocky relationship. They don't always see eye to eye on things. Speaking of new characters, paediatric registrar Tom Kent, he is a breath of fresh air. Since Adam Truman left, I feel like Casualty was missing I suppose a kind of heartthrob character. Tom really did fill that void, and he did it very well, as he's a very well committed doctor as well. Honestly, the standout new character in Series 26 is Registrar Sam Nicholls, the ex-wife of Dylan Keogh. She is amazing. Charlotte Salt really did well with that character. You can tell that she really just went with it and gave some amazing acting performances throughout the series. I especially like some of her storylines. She has a GMC hearing over apparently breaking a patient's neck, as well as her relationship with Dylan. And William Beck and Charlotte Salt have great chemistry on screen, so you can see how these 2 characters work and why a marriage did form out of that relationship. Speaking of a character which really shined through to me in Series 26, that would have to be Nurse Linda Andrews. Now, when Linda first arrived in Series 25, she was kind of this party animal, didn't really like responsibility, liked her job but weren't that dedicated to it. Well, that changes in series 26 because she has to step up for her niece and nephew when her sister is arrested. And I really think that Linda matured throughout this series as she kind of got her life back on track and decided that she needed to support her niece and nephew while their mother is absent. I also like the off and on relationship she has with junior Dr. Lenny. That was great throughout the series as it was kind of a will they, won't they. You know, at moments it looked like they were very close to getting together, and then there was other moments when it just looked like it weren't going to happen. And I sometimes think that if Lenny hadn't have departed the show when he did, a relationship, a really good relationship, could have formed between Linda and Lenny. Speaking of departures, my personal favourite in this series, Ruth and Jay. They'd been through a lot, especially Ruth after 4 years on the show. And it was great that Ruth found out she was pregnant with Jay's baby and they decided to leave Holby ED for a new life. They got a happily ever after. And I have to say, I wish more shows nowadays would take reference with Ruth and Jay's departure, because you don't always need a depressing exit. Sometimes you can have a happily ever after and the viewers will love it. I also like junior Dr. Lenny's departure. He gets a new job in London and I think it's well deserved. He'd worked hard throughout his 3 years working in the ED. So overall, the characters are good. We get some really strong new characters that join. The established characters get good storylines, and the departures in this series are actually quite optimistic and happy compared to previous series. So in conclusion, series 26 is definitely an important series. It brought about a lot of changes which are still relevant to this very day. The new characters who are introduced do prove, though, that Casualty is still invested in character-driven storylines, which I think is the heart and soul of Casualty. It's built around strong and well-developed characters, so I'm glad that Series 26 continues that tradition of having strong characters. A lot of the departures in Series 26 are surprisingly happy, and I think that's good because it's a nice change from previous series. I also really enjoy the series finale, #HolbyRiots. Not only were they well filmed and it kind of highlighted riots and how damaging they can be and how people can take advantage of very emotional situations for their own personal gain. Because Yvonne is stabbed during the riots, and in the aftermath Nick decides that he has to go off with her and try and help her survive and recover from her injuries, and Zoe just says, look, go, I'll look after the ED. And I think that marked a new era in the sense that Nick has gone off just on temporary leave for the moment, and Zoe, who is a very experienced consultant, is now thrown into the hot seat as acting clinical lead. So I think Series 26 ends with a new era beginning. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe in order to receive great and maybe even improved quality content in the future. I am sorry that I look such a mess today. I've been at work the last couple of days over the bank holiday weekend and I haven't had a chance to shave, plus I'm due a haircut. So if I look a mess, there is a reason for it, I promise you. I am sorry about that. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day and I will see you in another one. See ya!